welcome along. It's Derby Day in the East. Hansa Rostock taking on Dynamo Dresden. Big match here at Ostseestadion. A chance to forget what's gone before and focus on winning those derby delights. It'll certainly be the focus for the Hansa Rostock fans, especially after a 5-0 thrashing in their last outing and 5 changes for Daniel Brinkman's side. They'll be hoping the return of Sigurd Hagen, the Norwegian top scorer with 7 goals, will fire them to a better result. But they face the side sitting second in the Dritte Liga standings. Dynamo Dresden make no changes as Thomas Stam continues with the side that won 5-2 in their last outing. A raucous atmosphere. And certainly captain of Hansa Rostock, Franz Pafana, knows more than most about this fixture. He came through 8 years as a youth at Dynamo Dresden with a couple of first-team appearances, now leading with the captain's armband against the side his parents still support. Although he did say these are the only fixtures when their hearts don't quite beat the same. Dynamo Dresden, though, have a terrific record at this ground. They've won on their last 4 visits between the second and third tiers of German football. The last time Hansa Rostock were successful here at the Ostseestadion against Dresden is nearly 14 years ago. A stunning atmosphere as the two teams line up. Hansa Rostock 8th in the standings. They're 10 points adrift of second place Dynamo Dresden. The visitors with their focus on climbing higher this afternoon. Daniel Brinkman will be hoping for a big reaction. Mejster, Dietz, Schumacher, Kinsombi and Naderi all paying the price for that 5-0 thumping they suffered. Referee in the middle, Tom Bauer, with Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2 experience, the 28-year-old, the man in the middle. Big smile. He'll hope, though, he doesn't have to bring that book out too often, although on Derby Day in the East, certainly could be likely. The reverse fixture of the match in Dresden finished in a 1-1 draw. Christoph de Ferner netting after just 9 minutes in that September affair. But Naderi earning a point for Rostock, though he has to settle for a place on the bench. So Sigurd Hagen, 7 goals since the Norwegian joined the club in the summer. The Dresden fans know that a victory of 2 goals or more would see them top the table before NG Cottbus are in action on Sunday. Well, the crowd's certainly ready. A passionate affair between these two Eastern clubs. Hansa Rostock desperate to try and get back to Bundesliga 2 after relegation last season. Dynamo Dresden looking to try and wipe away the pain of the last few attempts to return to the top 2 tiers. Some getting an early taste of this fixture. So the last 5, Hansa Rostock, 2 wins, a draw and 2 defeats. That is the same for Dynamo Dresden. Bafana did say Dresden are vulnerable, but that is of course something that could be said about the home team in blue and white. So it could make for quite the spectacle. I think slight delay to kick off due to flares going off in the home end. Just waiting for visibility to return. And now we look prepared to get things underway. So Hansa Rostock and Dynamo Dresden, the derby of the East, kicking off here at Ossi Stadion. Hansa Rostock making 5 changes to their starting lineup after suffering a 5-0 thrashing in their last outing away at Waldorf Mannheim. A real shock considering Mannheim are battling against the drop. For Hansa Rostock, facing their bitter rivals, desperately in need of points to try and stay in the promotion conversation. Currently 8th in the standings. Now 5 adrift of Arminia Bielefeld after they kicked off match day 25 of this Dritte Liga season with a Friday night victory. We're going down early. Mika Bauer certainly caught in the referee trying to restore a little bit of order. Not getting much sympathy from the home support. Bauer back to his feet. And now strides in towards a packed 6-yard area. So Jonas Sterner standing over the ball. He's whipped in instead to that near post area. Fine delivery from Sasa Risch. Rostock able to clear, although they'll now face the first corner kick of the match. A real battle at the near post, but it's a punch away from Benjamin Uphoff. The ball returned to the edge of the area. Dynamo Dresden look to keep the pressure on. Delivery in, a header on target. The first of the match, but Uphoff with a comfortable catch. Just keeping the pressure on from Adrien Lebeau, the Frenchman, one of the 5 to come into the starting lineup. Dresden certainly starting on a comfortable footing. boot upfield from up off. As yet, Hansa Rostock not really been able to get any passes flowing. Sasha Risch to Lars Bunning, one of the few to still be in the Dynamo Dresden team that's changed an awful lot. Not the best of balls forwards, and Rostock can try and finally find some offensive flair. Oh, he gets to the ball first, and that means a foul against Risch. Certainly in protection of his teammate. Mathieu Lebeau having a few words. Tom Bauer, though, on the scene, and looks like being the first card of the affair. Real concern. It is a yellow card for Sasha Risch, who certainly overreached. Confirmation of the caution. Fullback now making his apologies. Rostock under a bit of pressure in the opening minutes. Finally getting into the final third. Waiting for a signal from medical staff. He's going to be able to continue. Franz Pfaffan in the picture, number 23. Came through at Dresden. Now very much the heartbeat, the heart of Hansa Rostock's side. Looks like good news. Nico Neidhardt bombing up from his wing-back position in this 3-4-3 for Daniel Brinkman's side. Did brilliantly to get to the ball first and took a hit for his troubles. They'll be hoping to trouble Dresden now from the set piece. Adrien Lebeau with two options. It's left to the left foot as it's swung across, bobbling around. Dresden able to survive. Throw taken. Dresden wanted an offside, but swung in by Niels Froling. And then the return effort isn't a good one, and that's a worry. Nico Neidhardt, as soon as the ball went out, sat down, and it could be an early change for Daniel Brinkman. Shake of the head, he desperate to try and continue. Certainly not looking good. The last meeting between these teams actually was in Bundesliga 2 in August 2021. Dynamo Dresden actually scored in the first minute on their way to a 3-1 victory on this ground. Continue their dominance when the two have shared the same division. Crowd showing their appreciation, but that is heartbreaking. Not even 10 minutes played. Nico Neihart already forced off. So the 30-year-old heads off, and on in his place, Czechia defender, 29-year-old Jan Merge, lost his place after being in that final thrashing. Well, that was almost an absolute disaster for Tim Schreiber. Just managed to poke a toe out to stop it being a tap-in. And the Dresden players just seem to be asking each other to remain wide awake. Well, disaster avoided for now. After a bright start, it's Rostock who have wrestled the momentum. Short corner. Changing of the angle. Swung in deep. But a wrestling match means it goes out. Rostock want the referee to act. He does, but only to point out a goal kick. Certainly heart-stopping moments for Tim Schreiber. They're not helping themselves, Dresden. Oh, it's a brilliant ball. Looking for some options. Just gets it lost at his feet, Huygen. That swung back in, and it's the opening goal! And the Otzi Stadion erupts. Niels Froling hitting the back of the net. His fourth of the season, but on Derby Day, by sure, it's the most important. Well, the ball whipped in here on the turn. He had a half yard, and the deflection didn't stop the US-born Swede from finding the back of the net. Nothing that Tim Schreiber could do, and Froling has got the Rostock party started. Rostock's number 10, heading home, his fourth of the season. He's now just one shy of his best ever scoring return while at Kalmar in Sweden. His first goal at this ground since scoring the winner against Sandhausen back at the start of December. The fans certainly enjoying that much more than any other goal. A match that Franz Bafana said people talk about for weeks before. Now it's delivered early delights for Brinkman's side. Plenty to ponder for Thomas Stam. Good start from his team. And yet now discipline also proving to be a bit of a problem. Bafana down. Christoph Defana seems to be upset. Everyone's got their opinions, but it's only Tom Bowers that matters. Young, but with already top-tier experience. Not an awful lot in that. It's a late challenge for sure. But, emotions running high. Otzi Stadion hasn't seen a Rostock home victory over Dresden in nearly 14 years. Gives you an idea of present and past, creating a fervent atmosphere now they have this precious lead. Thomas Stam led Freiburg's second side to second place in the table a couple of seasons ago. Of course, no promotion for club's second team. Certainly got his attention, but they have to be attentive at the back. It's another wonderful delivery. Freuling is once again flinging himself at it. Very good covering from Sasha Risch. Took a knock, although you could see Freuling did pull out of the challenge. Just a coming together. But the fullback had to tuck in to get clear. And Dresden having to set up again. They took a short corner before. Here's Adrien Lebeau once again. Puts himself on the move to receive again. The Frenchman now drills it in, flicked at the near post. To flashing wide. Really put some venom on that. Just trying to divert it onto the target, but Bafana unable to do so. An Eastern derby, but over 400 kilometers between the sides. Rostock in the north. Just northeast of Hamburg. Dresden right by the Czechia border. Certainly long history that continues into this Dritte Liga season. Now they're back in the same league. 1-1 in the reverse fixture. But Dresden took an early lead on home soil. Rostock have done the same here. They'll hope not to be pegged back the way they did in September. And Dresden will just be happy to have some territory. The bright start has faded into a very tough afternoon here. Nice touch. Dresden being hounded by the white and blue of Rostock, whose tails are certainly up, and not just the matchup against their rivals, but 5-0 thrashing at Mannheim certainly will have them even more focused to make amends. And they know victory would be vital to keep any hopes of promotion back to Bundesliga 2. First time of asking. Touch around the corner, but easily mopped up by Urish. Huge test this now for Dynamo Dresden. Certainly no victory would make top spot a possibility. That before Eniga Kudbus are in action. Looking to avoid a fourth straight Dritte Liga season since their last relegation from Bundesliga 2, but being relegated to Voyeurs in this match as Rostock again win the ball back, but Hagen unable to hit the target. Rostock with the ability to sit back and hit the space when they turn over possession. Good flick on. Here is the goal scorer, Froling. Wins the throw. Just trying to hold it up, but it's a wrestling match. Huygen loses out to Lars Buren, and now tempers once again fraying. Certainly it's something that's simmering and coming to the boil quite quickly. Baumann just looking to a little bit better behaviour from the players. So little in this. The two of them not happy with either's attentions. Tough day for the 28-year-old, but certainly valuable experience. Now having to work backwards, but Dynamo Dresden, the ball pops up. Too slow to get that way, but does well. Defender to initially keep it in possession. Rostock just biting into the challenge better, and Adrien Lebeau. Great run and ball. The flag stays down. Trailed across, is blocked, but fired back in. Dresden desperate. And eventually, Schreiber getting it, gloves to ball. Waited, and then the flick of Buring left it there to be struck. Tony Menzel eventually blocking the effort of Marco Schuster. He's hoping to try and bag his third goal of the season. Strong defending, and now a ball over the top. Huygen wasn't ready. Strayed offside. Well, he'll be delighted with the response he would have demanded after last time out. Humbling. They had won 5 in a row at home, but they're winless in their last 2 with a draw and defeat. So Rostock desperate to get back to winning ways and home comforts. Space and time for Ries. Rare Frory forward, but it's a ball that is so difficult to do anything with for Christoph Defana. Benjamin Uphoff. Busy first few minutes, otherwise he's been sorely underemployed. Still 1-0 thanks to the headed goal of Niels Froling. Dresden looking for a spark, but being quickly pressured. Ball turnover. Rostock not shy to put the ball in space. They wanted to win that. He took the man, but initial play on. Captain of Dresden, Niklas Holmgren. Long range effort, speculative. Now the referee will check on the fallen Dynamo player. Rajaz Kasar, the Slovenian. Very speculative effort. Got right under it. Little bit of dip, but nowhere near enough to have any worry from up off. Now in behind. Schroeder knew he had to get there first. Froling thought he was in again. Rostock just harrying the men in yellow and black. Just nicked away from the advancing King Samuel Manu. Good strength and turn from Hagen. Drives it across. They can't find Froling. Brinkman will be absolutely delighted with how his side have progressed, although showing frustration, maybe that they're only a goal ahead. This was the turn, and then he was quickly looking up. There was lots of space, though. If the cutback had gone to substitute Jan Merchner. Enough pressure on the Dresden defence to close down the options. There's been at least 3 goals in each of the last 5 meetings between these sides. We've certainly had one, a sense that there are more to have. Dresden hope it's for them. King Samuel Manu sticking to his task. First we'll look at Jakob Lemmer. Another along with Habmann and Boning to maintain their status with Dresden. Big changes. Look to try and finally see them back in to Bundesliga 2. Forced all the way back to Schreiber, and certainly struggling Dresden to play through Rostock. Dresden just taking a bit of sting out of the match. The referee had a decision there to make, and it's not gone Dresden's way. Christoph de Ferner penalised for just blocking out Amit Gurleyen. Fender getting the benefit. Long searching ball. Froling does so well to get to the ball first. Just try to feed it to Mejder. Right intent. No route to goal on this occasion. Dresden now really struggling to find a route to Benjamin Upoff's goal. Nearly half an hour gone. It's a loose one though, picked up by the captain. Hubman thought there was a handball. Referee Tom Bauer agrees. Manu with the shrug and a smile. Hubman, I think, maybe wanting more action. Shaking their head, but Dresden do have the free kick. Frustration might have been the fact that they were stopped in their tracks. So over this one as before. Strana does take it. Wicked delivery. Strong header away from Gurleyan. But the ball bobbles around just at the last second. I think Samuel Manu pokes a toe out to keep it away from Dafana. It was Manu's handball that brought about the initial free kick that was swung in. 21-year-old on loan from Fortuna Düsseldorf. Dresden themselves changing the angle. Bit of luck for Bunen. It's a much better ball to find. Risch swings it in, and almost on the penalty spot. Tough one to take, but there wasn't much pressure on him. Thomas Stam seeing a bit of life in the match. Let it come across him. That is a poor finish. Couldn't keep it down, Tony Menzel. Maybe had the time and space to take a touch. Rushing it and seeing it over. Menzel coming through the Dresden Academy. Just 19 years old. He's made the big step up this season after just 4 sub-appearances last term. 5 goals in the campaign. Dresden finally finding a bit of spark about them. Menzel can't get it away from Manu though. The ball round the corner, wants the return. Now flicks it through, just dry, it drifts away from Froling, but it will be a free kick called back. And here was the slight nudge from Jonas Sterner. Stern look about him. Certainly stern words will be exchanged if Dresden find their way back into the match, and a booking as well for the fullback. Hotti clearing his lines. Headed away by Gurleyan. First ball from Nedster. Certainly Christoph Taferner, top scorer for Dynamo Dresden with 14 goals. Certainly showing he's up for the physical battle. Joint top scorer in the division with Ingolstadt's Sebastian Kroning. But it's about to be the man who scored half as many goals, who's about to come on. Early change for Dresden. And it's their veteran, Stefan Puchka, who prepares to head on. Before that though, Rostock with a free kick, changing of the angle. Lovely reverse ball, but just drifts away from Haugen. But he then wins the header, the Norwegian, over the head of Manu though. Jakob Lemmer tries to bring Dresden out, elects to go back. It'll be interesting to see what change Thomas Stam is going to make, whether he wants added support for Daferner. They have not been able to get Mika Bohr or Jakob Lemmer into the game at all on the flanks. Ball still in play, so we'll wait to see what's going to occur. Taken down by Felix Ruschka. Nice turn. Unfortunate though. The block runs back to them. Night ball away. Lumped along. Vital interception. The Rostock, if the ball had been better, could have still been on their way. There you see the number 30. The early change is the rather invisible Mika Bauer. It's one of the first times we've seen him as he walks off. No wonder he's showing his frustrations. So Stefan Kuska still showing he can mix it at this level. Now, Dresden have 21 goals up top so far this season. Certainly looking for a more physical presence to join Defana. Rostock still have the lead. But can the captain change that for Dresden? Hoffmann does brilliantly, gets a shot away. It's one of their first meaningful efforts. Up off comfortable, but a warning for the hosts. Was a chance to play in Kuschka. Maybe change the angle for a ball across, but he went for goal. Dresden's captain. Started with the armband, but Kuschka, of course, now home field general. Applause for the switch of play. Matchday has to readjust, now gets on his bike as he plays it to Froling, but that's a good challenge. If not ball forward from Boning. Looking for support was Gurleyan. The side have responded. Frustration. Matchday couldn't play it into the path, but he's back on the ball, and the Czechia, they are just seeing that work down the line. Keeping the pressure on Dresden. Looking for a long throw. Get to the area. It's always going to be a tough one to get down and strike at goal. Alexander Rossipal certainly did the first bit right. Unable to strike on target. Rossipal, 28-year-old, has scored this season. 2-1 away victory at 1860 Munich. There's space for Froling, whose goal still separates the sides. Oh, that's very casual defending initially. Eventually, Sasser-Risch read the danger. Contact with Matchday brings a free kick. They're coming together. It's gone the way of the substitute in yellow and black. Kuschka fell by Matchday. Rostock wing back having replaced Nico Nerhardt early on. Kuschka just entered the fray in place of Mika Bauer. Certainly gives them an added threat in the set-piece situation. So the fullbacks over this, Sasha Rich, Jonas Sterner. Boos ring out. Can they be silenced? Near post header. It bobbles around. De Ferner wants more action. Tom Bauer not interested. He did find space. De Ferner looking for that 15th goal of an already prolific season. Count for little if Dresden don't seal their pathway back to Bundesliga 2. They were top 2 along with Jan Regensburg all last season until the turn of the year. Their form absolutely disappeared and they end up finishing 4th. There's going to be a booking for Froling. But Bauer has tried to keep tempers from fraying, explaining himself. You can see Froling acting late here. Just a nudge into the back of Risch. And Bauer has been consistent, and that means Froling into the book. Just as you saw similar for Jonas Sterner. Fullbacks again. It's the left who swings it in. Risch can't find the head of a teammate. Flick on. Manu away though. Clipped up high. Verleyen gets distance on it. Dresden try and keep the pressure on. That's loose. There wasn't anyone making a forward run. Astor wanted it from the hands of Uphoff. Thomas Dam will feel there's something to build on for the second half, but it's taken far too long for Dresden to be competitive. Clipped to the side. It's a good flick. It's going to drift out for a throw inside. It's around the last 3 minutes plus any stoppage time. A little added on, particularly for the injury to Neidhart, to get treatment. Tried to continue, and then eventually gave way for Menster, who gets the ball back in play. One, two, three flick-ons. Eventually ends up at the feet of Menzel. Lifted into an area, but never going to be the best getting up for that. Now with Boning. A bit behind Risch, so in the end has to go back. It's a ball forward, but it's a very difficult one. Captain Hoffman to control and keep in. Rostock representing northern Germany. Dresden, a symbol of Saxony. Both clubs, some of the most passionate and volatile fan groups in German football. Always a highly competitive and passionate affair. Certainly been no different this afternoon. Oh, one of those a taste of this fixture for the first time this season. We started off at Strasbourg, then a short spell at Mannheim, an even shorter one at Brest before returning to Germany. He's played nearly an hour of Ligue 1 football. Certainly wanting to make himself a mainstay here for Rostock. Stop-start into the half. He's trying to bundle his way through. Hansa Rostock, the set piece. Rolling. Manu drops short. It goes long instead. Leicester with a very good header. Hagen pins his man, tries to find the shooting angle. Well, he did, but was he pulled back? Well, he wants a penalty. Though maybe if his shot hadn't been taken, he might have made the decision a much harder one for Tom Bauer. He did so well, the Norwegian, to pin his man and then spin him. Referee, though, in a good position, and it is just a corner as we're into added time at the end of the first half. Ball swung in. It's there to be won. The players all lose sight of it. And that helps Dresden clear their lines. Dresden were unbeaten in 5 on the road before defeat to Stuttgart's second tide. Kuschke in the end with a penalty after the home side had gone down to 10 men, but they couldn't overturn the original 2-0 deficit. Losing by a goal, as they do this afternoon at the OC Stadion. Two sides, long history. So we played nearly 2 minutes of the 3 additional. Manu hitting the deck and earning the free kick. Jazz Kassar, guilty party. Certainly a long-standing rivalry between Hansa Rostock and Dynamo Dresden. One of the most intense in German football, especially in the former East Germany. Both clubs powerhouses in the DDR Oberliga before unification. Dresden, one of the most dominant though, winning 8 DDR titles. A strong representation on the European scene. Rostock, competitive, always seen as an underdog. Clubs like Dynamo. They did win the final DDR Oberliga title in 1990-91 to secure a place in the Bundesliga. Dresden as well, but financial struggles. Relegation in 95. Certainly been more yo-yoing between Bundesliga 2 and Dritte Liga. Well, we're past the 3 additional minutes, but that the minimum required. The final act of this first half is a very dangerous looking free kick. Rostock getting it for that tug back by Christoph de Ferner, striker, not helping his side's cause. Is there big moment in the dying embers of the first half for Rostock. Rostock, a goal to the good after the header early on from Niels Froling. Standing over this, Alexander Rossapal and Adrien Lebeau. It's the Frenchman to strike, but he couldn't find something beautiful. And that brings the first half to a close. Well, they've certainly brought the energy and rivalry to life in the first half, but it's the fans here at the Otzi Stadion who are hoping to see something they haven't in nearly 14 years, and that's victory over Dynamo Dresden on home soil. Thomas Stam made the early change to bring on his veteran striker Kushka. At the moment, it's Hansa Rostock who lead in the derby 1-0 at the break. Well, welcome back ahead of the second half. Certainly some disturbances in the stands. It's a feisty derby affair between these two East German giants. Certainly historically, if not in recent years, bouncing between Dritte Liga and Bundesliga 2. We saw the first half start delayed for a vibrant show from the Rostock fans. Flares meaning there wasn't full visibility, but now the players being called back off the field. Safety obviously of paramount, and Tom Bauer has taken the decision as the police were working up alongside the Dresden fans. As things stand, we are going to have to wait before the second half gets underway. Gerleyen alongside Sigurd Haugen. Haugen, the Norwegian top scorer for Hansa. Certainly thought he should have had a penalty in stoppage time at the end of the first half. But it's Niels Froling's goal that splits these two sides on the field of play. But at the moment, problems in the stands mean we're at a standstill. Daniel Brinkmann hopes they're on the brink of a first derby victory here at their Ötzi Stadion in nearly 14 years. The stewards get a wee snack. There's more time for each team to have a think. Lebeau, amongst the rest, will want to get back on with proceedings as soon as possible, but Brinkmann now taking his team back to the dressing rooms, along with Dynamo Dresden, and certainly not what anyone wants to see. We want the passion and the environment, but we want it to be safe. And as things stand, we're having to wait for the second half to come. Conversations between the two teams. Brinkmann in conversation with Tim Schreiber. And certainly the two sets of players and coaching staffs very much focused on getting this back on. Well, Stefan Kuska trying to play his part, but he's being ushered away. The veteran Dresden striker has been in this position before. Well, they were the ones who were supposed to be centre stage, but they're two sets of players, now the spectators. As things stand, no indication of when the second half will get underway. The worry now is the risk of the game not continuing. No word as yet at what stage we're at in terms of match delegates and who's in charge. Pyrotechnics and firecrackers currently dictating the lack of action, and now there's getting fiery response to the sidelines. It was all nice before, but Kushka and Brinkman, not sure if it was them directly involved, but the rivalry in the stands being felt on the pitch. Tempers fraying. And it's certainly not what we want to see. Kushka trying to be peacemaker. Didn't work out too well. Him and Brinkman, though, do seem to see eye to eye, at least to apologise. The players have been going on and off. Brinkman remaining on the sidelines, this game on the brink, if things don't clear up soon. The two sides trying to find some common ground. At the moment, Kushka certainly trying to lead by example with the captain's armband. But as things stand, the game yet to find a point in which we can restart. 1-0 to Rostock on the pitch after the first half. We're still waiting for news on when the second half might be played. A heated discussion between Rostock coach Daniel Brinkman and Dynamo Dresden captain Kushka. Certainly didn't help matters, but found a certain amount of calm, the two in the picture there. As yet we haven't found a solution that will allow this match to restart, and the question will be, will it restart? The players and coaches alike trying to get any information. As yet, we did see the police in the stands, the Dresden away support. Alongside the Rostock fans on that side. And it's the supporters as well who wait on. A few beers in, you can see a nice stacking of the cups, always getting your money back in Germany for returning them. But Rostock not getting much return for their 1-0 lead. Dresden certainly are coming back into the contest, and Kuska coming off the bench to provide a bit of more support for Christoph Dafferner. But we're already a long time without the action returning. I'm concerned at whether the match will go ahead. That's nearly 30 minutes without football returning, that including the half-time interval. And certainly concerned faces on those inside the Otzi Stadion. Rostock 1-0 up at half-time thanks to Neil Froling's goal. That came after just 11 minutes. And when Rostock fans have waited nearly 14 years to win on home soil against bitter rivals Dynamo Dresden, huge frustration that we have yet to see football return to the field. The players have returned to the changing rooms. Certainly hope they'll be back out on the field very soon, but as yet no indication of whether the match will be able to go ahead or not. The good news, the players heading back out. The announcement informing the supporters of what's expected to keep this match ongoing. It's been an extended half-time interval. The visitors back out on the field. Schreiber having been beaten by the man who just walked on first, Niels Froling. Rostock number 10. And thankfully, after a long delay, this match should have a conclusion. It's Rostock leading Dynamo Dresden by 1-0. Can Dresden hit back Thomas Stam's side in the second period? Fans certainly excited, but the warning, if there are any more pyrotechnics, the match will be suspended. So 5 minutes of a warm-up before the teams return to battle on the pitch and hope for less in the stands. Brinkman saluting the fans, certainly hoping his side can maintain what was overall a very good first half showing. Brinkman coming in November, taking over with Hansa Rostock, 14th in the table with just 16 points. So he has brought a huge upturn in form. Question is, has that come too late to see them rediscover Bundesliga 2 action? Meanwhile, his adversary, Thomas Stam, the former Swiss footballer, desperate to do what others have failed. And let's get Dynamo Dresden back in to Bundesliga 2. Relegated in 21-22 season, back-to-back campaigns in Dritte Liga. They've seen their promotion hopes die at the final hurdle. Brinkman. Plenty of time to ponder for both teams. It was a 3-year run in Bundesliga 2. It came to an end with a 17th place finish back in Dritte Liga, which they'd spent 9 seasons in a row between 2012 and 2021. Mentioned, they won the final Oberliga to enter the Bundesliga in the reunified German state. That was their short-lived, finishing 18th. Did have 10 years in the Bundesliga between the mid-90s and mid-noughties. Not since 2005 have they been in the top division. Otomba with ball in hand, the second half very belatedly preparing to be kicked off. I think final discussions at what will pass if there's more pyrotechnics. We hope for fireworks on the field, not off it. Belatedly back underway. Rostock with a precious 1-0 lead, but Dynamo Dresden want to hit back soon enough, but as soon as the action starts, it's brought to a close again, but it's after a collision between King Samuel Manu and his centre-back partner Amit Gurleyan. Sandwich in Kuzka, but it's the Dresden captain that's walked away unharmed. Got into a little set-do with Rostock captain, or coach I should say, Daniel Brinkman. Only 3 years of age difference between them. One coaching Rostock, the other still a captain on the field of Dresden. It's Dynamo who are able to recover possession after that collision between two Rostock players, but that's given away. Manu back on his feet, clear-headed to clip it into Lebeau. Tries to create a shooting angle. Gets the run of the ball, weak challenge. Rostock firing it in. No deviation from Hogan to divert Alexander Rossapal's strike. Lebeau trying first, Rossapal then firing through. Norwegian hitman is looking to just divert it towards goal. Instead, well wide. Almost fell kindly for Froning. Dynamo Dresden scoring 5 at home against 1816 Munich. De Ferner double, Hotti, Menzel and Lemmer for a convincing victory. Although that against a hugely struggling former giant, they've struggled more in this derby atmosphere. Ball down the line. Well defended and shepherded out by Boning. as things stand, Hansa Rostock would move 1 place up the standings. More importantly, they'd be just 3 points from the podium. The top 2 positions in the division, automatic promotion to Bundesliga to 3rd place with that playoff position against 3rd bottom of Bundesliga 2. There's so many clubs vying for it, but they have to keep Dresden at bay if they're to reignite their promotion hopes. The ball bubbling around, finally struck on goal, but the whistle having already gone offside. Clipped into a good area. Ball bobbling around. The whistle had already gone. Well, unconventional, but eventually well done defensively from Alejad Kassar, but not so good from Tim Schreiber. That's great play from Hogan. He will get the free kick for the earlier tug back by Andy Hotti. Drive back. He's allowed to continue on. Eventually, Tom Bauer seeing no advantage. Ball swung in, really good area, but it's Kuschka who gets it away at the first time of asking, then a second, but it falls. Well, what looked like, well, the flag is up on the far side. There's also a knock for Jan Mejder, who himself came on for Nico Nedhart, who went down after a ferocious challenge from Sasha Rich. And the two players were coming together for loose ball. Cleared by Kuschka. Initially, it was in this collision the Czechia player went down. This was on the edge of the area. It's just those heads coming together. Jakob Lemmer, unintentional. It's Mejder who comes off worst. Checking the watch, Thomas Stam is not enjoying his afternoon at the OC Stadion, having brought his Dresden side north to Rostock to face Hansa, trailing by 1-0. Flicked into a good area, but too much on it. You can see where the temper's fray when there's very little to be annoyed about. De Ferner not happy about the attentions of Ahmet Kuleyan. Certainly bumps into the striker. And De Ferner sure to let him know. Ball clipped through. Just a breath of relief from Dresden that Andy Hotti got there first. Challenge in there by Hotman. Started with the captain's armband with Kushka on the bench, but the vice-captain passing it on as the big striker joined the fray. Now more changes afoot for Thomas Stam. But could they have a route back to parity? Ball bouncing, bobbling. They thought they'd kept it alive, Dresden. But a free kick as once again Jan Mejda hits the deck, but he's getting plenty of love from his teammates for putting his body on the line. So two changes. On comes for Stam's side. So there, Philip Michael Hesse, Sasha Risch. He's also joined by a man who has shown an eye for goal, Robin Meissner. Scored 12 for Victoria Köln while he was on loan from Hamburg. They made the switch to Dynamo Dresden. 5 goals last term, although he only made 9 starts. He's already scored 5 again this term. Still hasn't been able to make a starting place his own. Super sub on again. Though he hasn't scored since Dynamo Dresden's 3-0 win at home against Arminia Bielefeld the start of December. Tom Bauer really is having to deal with an awful lot. Few players down on the deck, one of which is Alajaz Kasar, the Slovenian. Gives a thumbs up. Froling clattering him. Has to be a bit careful. Former Sweden under-21 international has been booked, but certainly no suggestion there was another one coming there. But players do have to maintain their discipline. Well, after waiting a half hour for the half-time break to end, after that extended wait due to pyrotechnics in the stands. Nearly 50 minutes flying by. Neat touch, but then the header letting him down and dragging back Lemmer. To confirmation, Robin Meissner and Philip Heiss coming on for the fullbacks, Jonas Sterner and Sasha Risch. You can see how offensive that's making Dresden as they look for a route back into the match. Jakob Lemmer pretty much dropping back into the right back position. There's Philipp Heise patrolling the left full-back flank. So adventurous move from Dresden boss Thomas Stamm. Just not being able to create very much. Can they change that now? Oh, it's a good ball in. It's a great spin. Brilliant defensive challenge at the last gasp moment. Lemmer now. Ball breaks loose. Driven across. Surely. Rostock. Oh, well, the referee waves away penalty claims. And Uphoff gets his hands on the ball. Somehow, Dresden fail to level things up. Absolute mayhem in the Rostock box. This one driven across, would have been onside. Just got his studs on it, Defana. And then Menzel just could not force it home. Maybe handball against him as he fell down on it, hoping for a spot kick that didn't come. Mayhem. A big celebration from Gurleyen, and Rostock who go up the other end, looking to double their advantage. Lebeau across, cleared away by Andy Hotti. We were there from Meissner. Leaning in there when he didn't really have to. Ball swung in, headed down by Manu. Dresden clearing their lines, but not before the corner kick is given. Taken short as they have done throughout the match. Lots of space. Shapes up. Lovely curling shot from Majda that hits the stanchion behind the goal. Set up beautifully for the Czechia player. Hasn't scored since being back home in the Czech Republic in 21-22 season. As goal scored, hoping to be the most. Froling heads off, as does Sigurd Høgjen, unable to add to his 7-goal tally. So Ryan Naderi heads on. He was the man who grabbed a point for Rostock at Dresden back in September. And it's Froling who has them taking a first initial step to what could be a historic home victory. You saw there it was deflected in, having on target. Froling with the goal, and it's Christian Kunsumbi who also has joined the action for Brinkman's side, on the brink of something big. Still 27 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Just taking a bit of the sting out of the match. Bit of space on the left flank. It's just launched, hopefully up in the sky. Brilliantly won back by Kuska. Luck not by design, but now Rostock can try and break on the counter. It's a really good ball flicked towards Naderi, and then it rolls off his toe. Not seeing a fluency from his side. It's become all a bit desperate. Dynamo Dresden struggling to create chances. It's not been massively different for Rostock. The difference is they have the precious lead. Brilliant challenge. And there was a bit of problems. Manu stepping in. Lebeau. It's a smart ball to open up the space for the advancing matchday. A little bit behind Marco Schuster. Rostock have certainly been better in possession. Lovely play from Lebeau when he looked to have just lost it. Touch from Kinsombi. Dresden do steal the ball, but they can't make it stick up top. Manu. Rossipal through the defensive three. Really stepped up. They don't want to get caught out, that's for sure. Dresden sucked so far into their own half. Unable to hold a higher line. Lovely play. Rostock playing with confidence. Philip Ruska. That breaks now. And Hubman finds Meisa. Better ball, more intention. But they need some invention. Lemmer, who's dropped back into the right back role. Showing Dresden, no, they need to be more offensive. So far, it's been, for a derby day, far too comfortable for Rostock. Kassar takes it back, the Slovenian, then spreads it to Lemmer. Lifts it diagonal, but it's a poor ball. You can see he's getting signs of just calming it down. Didn't need to rush it, but lacked all quality, which sadly has been the case for Dresden. Well, an issue now for Amit Gulayan, and they think a change is going to have to be made. That was the medical advice of Captain Franz Bafana. Now the medical staff on hand to give Brinkman the word whether he needs to change his central defender in what has been a solid back three. Not a good sign. There really wasn't anything particular that happened, and he looks like he's accepting his afternoon is over. The 25-year-old, his first campaign with Hansa Rostock, arriving on a free from Nuremberg. Came through at Mainz. Now coming off with his side leading by 1-0. Dresden try and take some hope from that. Lemmer continues on. The referee, despite him breaking into the box, now elected to bring it back. Not convinced there was enough of an advantage after Maisa had been felled. Chance to deliver something. The two substitutes over the ball, Philipp Heisse and Robin Meisser. It's the latter, but he's beaten everyone. And the ball is going to beat Stefan Kuschke, although he's barged off it by Jan Mejder. The referee happy with a bit of physical play. It's still a contact sport after all. Dresden certainly getting a bit more pressure, if not anything much more to show for it. Well, they did have a man up. That will now be over. As off went Gulayan. And he's replaced, finally. So Dario Goba heads on to try and shore things up. The 21-year-old former Eintracht Frankfurt. Signing for Rostock for 70,000 euros. Just an 8th appearance. Did score his first goal on this ground at a 4-0 thrashing of Rot-Weiss Essen. But certainly one will do if it takes them to victory over bitter rivals Dresden. The Yellow and Blacks will have something to say for that. Hubman, but a free kick given. Not in agreement, that's for certain. Kassar. Getting tight. So little contact. Lebeau managing to convince the referee. Great ball and a decent touch that almost worked neatly for Rushka. A bit of possession. Pathana opens an opportunity, but that's given away cheaply. And then the substitute stepping across. Gerber with his first intervention. Powerful header away, finds Lebeau. Takes the ball, but this time he doesn't get the free kick. That wasn't a good ball, but my oh my, is Hofmann made something of very little. Heisse wins the throw. Ball in field, it's a nice little triangle. Kisombi wants it back. Instead, it's his fellow sub, Naderi, who decided to go himself. This ended up with a yellow card. For the big striker, as a quick word with Kinsombi. for this challenge. High one on the knee. Samuel Manu into the book as changes a foot for Dresden once more. Lemmer tries to find a crossing angle, goes down late, but the linesman on hand to say it was a foul. So confirmation of King Samuel Manu seeking a booking. Late challenge certainly putting Lemmer off his stride, although hitting the deck when he knew he couldn't get to the ball. The linesman helping out the referee. Big chance here, swung in. Cleared though with some distance. Hoffman returns it with a neat angle. It's a lovely touch. And now swings it in. Clear post header. How has that been missed? A huge opportunity for Menzel, but he couldn't readjust his footing. And what a chance goes a begging. Wonderful skills, juggling from Hansa. Look at this. And then picks out a cross with his left foot. Flicked on. And just didn't anticipate it, Menzel, after the flick from Dafana. Good pressure from Kisumbi. Working back, though referee just wants to check on the fallen player. Changes awaiting. Dresden trying to hit desperation time. Swung in. Another header. Clearance. Naderi working all the way back to his goalkeeper as Uphoff ups and over. Oh, lovely little touch finding Kimpembe. Nice between Kinsombi and Naderi. Now Lebeau. It's just breaking the way of Rostock. Often by design, sometimes by fortune. Now the changes will be made. Hoffman getting word as the changes continue. So Claudio Kamenecht brought on as Kasser and Dafana head off. And that means a place for Dominic Cotter. Cotter, 24-year-old, scored 10 goals for Jan Regensburg in the division last season, as they eventually did make it back to Bundesliga 2. Having been battling with Dresden for the title, they managed to sneak through third place and then very impressive playoff victory. Did net in Bundesliga 2. The winter arrival to Dresden. 1 goal in his previous 5 appearances. And at the start of the month. Now they need him to bring something here. That is an opportunity, not an easy one, but Kuska fires it well off target as we head towards the final 10 minutes. Can Dresden find a way back in? They can't give the ball away that cheaply. Sombi. Ball lifted in but headed away. But Rostock just winning the ball back. Manu to Lebeau. Does so well to create a yard of space. Trickery, twisting and turning. It's into the hands of Schreiber. That's given away so cheaply by Lemmer. Dresden just don't look like they believe they can get back into the match. And Rostock could finish it. The second goal would surely be lights out. Dresden hoping they can do to what Rostock did to them in the reverse fixture. Saw Hansa steal a point. Ball's there to be won. He's won it well, and it's a great pass to Kuska. But he gets held up and robbed. It might, well, it almost looked like being a throw, but Rostock are just getting it all right. Heise thought he should have a free kick. Boning, the one penalised before. Cleared away, but not that far. Ruska with a 1-2 with Lebeau. Strong in the challenge, but Lemmer is able to clear, but only as far as Manu. One of the three centre backs, but he's been able to step up so often. Long ball, Dresden just desperate for something to drop for them. No such luck. It's been too comfortable for Benjamin Uphoff and co. But given Dynamo Dresden have won on their last 4 visits here, and Hansa Rostock have not been successful on home soil against Dresden since 2011. They'll certainly be worried, and they should have been. That should have been 1-1. What a chance. Thomas Stam sending on Robin Meiser along with others, but it fell to the forward, struck it true, wide of the post though. Good work, putting on the pressure. In the end, Kothar found his teammate. It didn't end at a goal. A bow at the other end. It's picked up by Schreiber. grandstand finish at the Otsi Stadion. Oh, just trying, but the slice clearance ended up working for Schreiber, who was on his toes. Breaks kindly again for Rostock. Oh, the ball's a really good one. In the end, Naderi seemed surprised as well that it found him. Had he anticipated it better, he might have been in. Long ball. Dresden just desperate for something to fall, as it did for Neisser before. They know they're not creating enough in open play, just looking for a break. Took long enough to get back for the second half. But Rostock may not have added to their 1-0 advantage, but for the moment it looks like being enough. But Dresden, can they find a late response? They're just desperate for something to happen. Long diagonal, the header one. Rakushka not able to get enough venom on it. So Dynamo Dresden look to be stuck on 45 points. Will give Enegin Kutbus a chance to go further than the 3 points clear, as the wrestling match goes against Bunning. And he goes into the book for wrestling. Naderi to the ground. Looks like tennis doubles, losing a point, still taking the high fives, despite getting caught out here. Naderi got his body in good position and was running through on goal. Only the positioning of Andy Hutti kept the colour yellow rather than red. So a victory here for Hansa Rostock. Take them to within 7 points of Dresden in second. 3 points of Saarbrücken in third, although they still have to play their matchday 25. They host Hannover's second side, who are currently second bottom. Hansa Rostock know a victory will certainly reignite hopes of a top 3 finish. Can they seal this match? Off the wall from Kinsombi. And yet they pick up the ball again. Lovely little turn, but then stumbles. Dynamo Dresden at last chance saloon. Brinkman on the brink of a historic victory. Since they were victorious here in April 2021 against Dynamo Dresden. Rostock have won just once. That's 11 without victory over Dynamo Dresden. Apart from that one success at the home of their rivals in August 2021. So one win in 11. That's why it means so much. Kim Sombi sent on as a forward, but showing his defensive guile. And look at him celebrate as if he'd scored the winner. Winning the free kick and taking the clock towards the 90 mark, with Rostock still leading by 0-0. They've got 5 minutes to survive. Dresden would not be deserving of a point, but they won't care if they can nab one. Long ball forward. Runners. Drag back. The referee says no. And now Rostock can claim the victory. 2-on-2, but Lebeau electing to just hold on to it rather than try and make a 2-on-2 work. He's given up the ball there. Cotter leaving it to the keeper. Lebeau looks to have run his race. They've put everything into this Rostock. They have to see this out. The flick on. But Uphoff gets there first. Well, it was Robert Müller, the defender, who scored the last winner for Rostock against Dynamo Dresden nearly 14 years ago. It's Niels Froling who's so close to writing his names in the history books. That's brilliant composure from Matchday. One of the 5 to lose his place after 5-0 thrashing by Mannheim, but came on early for the injury of Neidhart. And then he was there looking for a pass from Naderi, but he's remained up. Lebeau. Heise gets the challenge, but Rostock get the territory. Just about halfway through the minimal additional time. The OC Stadion, they want the party to start, but they have to see it out. Dynamo Dresden have created precious little. The biggest moment was when Menzel ended up in the 6-yard box but couldn't sort his feet out, looping the effort up into the hands of Uphoff rather than bursting the net. Otherwise, Rostock have certainly been good value for their lead. And now they're just working the clock. And taking the legs there, sweeping Ledger. And they have no intention of giving Dresden any hope. Stam tries to maintain some belief. They need to get to the other end of the field first. Rostock try and keep them in as Boonen clashes with Lebeau. And it's Lebeau, the Frenchman, who goes into the book. It's good news for Booning, since he's already on one. But then he gives it up to LeBeau, and he's going to have to be a little careful, the Frenchman. Smashing the ball off the Dresden player. Certainly not the beautiful game, but this is the kind of actions that fire up supports. Rostock fans historically have seen Dresden as the big boys, but they are looking to rule the roost of the Eastern Giants. Schreiber launches long, breaks kindly. Well, this could be a very important moment. Kamenecht winning the free kick, a booking for Kisombe, who celebrated after winning a free kick in his defensive area. This time gets it all wrong, and Dresden may have one last throw of the dice. Looking for an Ariba moment. Can they roll a 21? Swung in, but cleared away. And that's the final whistle. Daniel Brinkman has done what no Rostock coach has done in almost 14 years, and that's beat bitter rivals Dynamo Dresden at Otzi Stadion. Since that victory in April 2011, they'd beaten their rivals just once in 11, but they are finally back as the top dogs in the East, and a victory that puts them back in the conversation for the top three. For Dresden, a dreadful afternoon that saw them miss the chance to try and close the 3-point gap to Cottbus. Instead, it's Enegate who can open up a bigger gap, and the rest of the chasing pack can try and reel in Dynamo Dresden. Well, the celebrations will be mighty. They've waited an awful long time. In the end, Niels Froling with the only goal of the game after 11 minutes. But Rostock were well worth it. Dresden will lick their wounds from a 5-2 victory at home to 1860 Munich to a devastating derby defeat. Daniel Brinkman, who arrived in November with the club fighting relegation, certainly has them on the upward trajectory. It's ended here at the Otzi Stadion. Brinkman's Rostock 1, Dynamo Dresden 0.